here I am. I'm so glad you're here. And I am here because, as you know, this book is finally out. This has been my heart's project for the last several years, and some of you know that it actually came out close to a month ago on Amazon, but I kept it really quiet because 1 month ago today was the opening night of James Taylor's 2021 tour in Chicago at the United Center in Chicago. And I turned 60 in June, and for my birthday, my cousin gave me tickets to that show, and there I was, and just in my glory. And I found it so amazing that he opened the show with a tribute to his fans. I mean, there were just little clips. You can see this all. You can see the opening video, by the way, on my Life with James Taylor fan page. I videoed as much as I could to share with all of you, and I felt like the whole concert was just James saying thank you to his fans, and he also sang the song "That's Why I'm Here." And I've been to so many James Taylor concerts, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard him sing that song, maybe once or twice, way back in the 80s when it first came out. But I just felt like the whole thing was so serendipitous, and he was thanking us, and I'm thanking him. We are all thanking him because that's why we're here, right? Because we love James Taylor. We love his band, his all-star band, and it's just such a, I don't know, it's something I can hardly put into words, as you know. So anyway, I wanted to, first of all, thank all of the contributors that contributed to this book, JTBFFs, as I call them, James Taylor Best Friends Forever. And they submitted stories, and we did some editing, some playing around, and they ended up in this book. And each one of them touches my heart. And I know each one of them will touch your heart too. They're just beautiful stories. Some are about happy moments, some are about sad moments, some are about just, quote unquote stalking, but not really, going to as many James Taylor sightings as you can. And I have my little shrine to JT. You probably can't see it, but I've got my collection too. And as you know, today I'm going to be giving away some memorabilia that I've collected through the years that I want to share with you. But before we get to that, I am going to just read the quick introduction to the book so you know what it's about. And then maybe we'll share a story or two and give away a copy of the book and give away some of this cool memorabilia that I have. Great. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, my friend, my coworker Shannon is going to be answering them in the chat because I can't read them on my phone. I was hoping to do this on the computer, but So Shannon will answer any of your questions, where to buy the book through my website, lifewithjamestaylor.com. And if you have any comments or questions, just put them in there and Shannon will answer them. But like I said, this last month, James has been on tour for 15 shows. I mean, the man's 73 and he is rocking it for 15 shows. So I was really quiet. I didn't want to interrupt all of that, and I just wanted to enjoy as many shows as I could. I went to 3 of them in person, and then sharing a lot of videos on my Life with James Taylor page from all the other shows. And I wanted to keep it quiet, but last night was his last one until October. So during this break for the next 2 months is a great time to pick up the book and read all of these stories, and you're going to love them. So let me just read the intro. I'm a little like, because it took us so long to get on. But anyway, introduction. The most remarkable thing about James Taylor's music is its ability to spark connection. We connect with James, we connect with ourselves, and we connect with each other. His music, his stories, and that beautiful velvety voice makes us feel like we are not alone. My personal connection with James Taylor's music began when I was 13 years old, going through a very lonely and traumatic period in my life. One day, when my music teacher played the song Fire and Rain, I instantly felt a connection, like James was singing to me. All the pain, the abandonment, the loneliness, the sadness, all of that was right there in that song. And I felt like I wasn't alone anymore. Someone got me. He knew the pain I knew. He felt the abandonment I felt. He sang to me and told me through his story that it would all be okay. He gave me hope. The story doesn't end there, and neither does James Taylor's relevance and inspiration in my life. He continued through the next 4 decades to write and sing songs that touched me deeply throughout different periods, difficult as well as glorious moments. I can't tell you how many James Taylor concerts I've been to. Literally, I can't. From the early 1970s to the present day, as soon as a tour is announced, tickets are in my hand. And every time I see him walk on stage and nod to the crowd, you know what I'm talking about, JTBFFs. You know, that tall, lanky man just does that nod to us. An overwhelming feeling of love and gratitude fills my heart. And I silently thank him once again for saving my life. One of the best things that happens at a JT concert is the instant connection his fans have with each other. Regardless of who is standing next to me, we immediately bond and share our JT love stories. I'm a sucker for a good JT story. I want to hear them all. So a few years ago, I created the Facebook page, Life with James Taylor. My vision was to create a space to be able to connect with others who, like me, share a passion for his music. The stories that have been shared both on the page and in private messages to me have been amazing. I laugh, I cry, and half the time I think, that's me too. Ultimately, I decided I didn't want to keep the stories to myself. I want to share them with those I refer to as my JTBFFs, both on Facebook and off. And that is how this book project began. That's why we're here, stories from passionate James Taylor fans. Thank you to all my JTBFFs who shared their stories with me and each other. I wish I could include them all, but I've had to narrow it down to what could fit in this one volume. And I hope to continue to share stories on my Facebook page and in concert venues around the world, and maybe even another volume. So if you got a good story, send it to me, because as you know, that's why we're here. So there's some great, great stories in here. I love each and every one of them. And before we go any further, I'm going to thank once again the contributors to this book. And I have written down every contributor's name in this little JT hat that I have. I have 1, 2. I actually just got a third one, and one of these Facebook Lives, I'm going to give it away because I'm just dying to. So many people have asked me. But anyway, all the contributors' names are in here, and I'm going to pick one out. And that contributor is going to get a free copy of the book, and I will sign it. One day we'll have James sign the books, but for now I'll sign it. And then I'm going to give away some other cool stuff. And then my friend Shannon, who is also here, she is going to be writing down everybody's name who showed up today and who hung out while we were having all these technical difficulties. So Shannon's going to write your name down if you're here. And she's going to pick out a name also. Now, if you're a contributor, that means your name is in both hats. It means it's in my hat and in Shannon's hat. So we'll pick out 2 prizes right now. So first, this is exciting. Oh, look at all these people. I am so happy to see you all here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And by the way, if you watch this on the replay, if you're not here live, just do #replay. And I'm going to do another giveaway sometime during the week for all the other people that watched it on the replay. So if you're hearing this now, put #replay, and I'm going to do another giveaway because I just really want to give away all this great stuff. So the winner is Nancy Anderson. I wonder if you're here, Nancy. She has an awesome story in the book. I love Nancy's story. And Nancy, you will be getting a free copy of the book, and I will sign it for you, of course. And yay. And I'm going to pick one more contributor name to give away. I have these really cool, if you're a Red Sox fan, you'll love this. I have a whole bunch of these from May 3rd, 2015. It's actually a Topps baseball trading card. I'm a huge Red Sox fan, as is James. Does anybody know what the number, when he wears that Red Sox hat, number 9? Do you know what that's for? If you do, put it in the chat. And the first person who puts it in the chat, I'm going to send him a card. But I have these really cool James Taylor baseball cards, and I'm going to give one of these away as also to one of the contributors. And let me pick out another name. And then I'm going to have Shannon pick out a name. Okay. Kate Butcher. Oh, Kate, we talked earlier today. You said, oh, I hope I pressed the right numbers to get on. So, Kate, I'm going to send you a James Taylor baseball card. And one more thing I'm going to do now before we go over to Shannon. I thought this was super cool. This is actually when he put out the album, That's Why I'm Here. This is a little promo 45. Oh, isn't that picture great of him? Hot, right? Anyway, he put out this little 45 with the song Only One. You are my only one. You love that, right? That song was on the album, That's Why I'm Here. And this was a promo 45. And I just thought it was super, super cool because of that picture. And you can even frame this. Anyway, it's a cool thing. So I am going to pick one more name, contributor, to give that to. Let's see who gets that one. I swear, everybody's name is in here. Even the people that contributed from Italy, from Brazil, from Argentina. The book has got a lot of different fans. Okay, this one goes to Fran Mulville Hill. I hope I pronounced your name right, Fran. I know you. And another story that I just love that's in the book. So, Fran, you're going to get the 45 of James Taylor's Only One from That's Why I'm Here. So exciting. So, Shannon's going to pick out a couple of names. Shannon, why don't you do that and tell us in the chat who wins. The first one for Shannon is going to get another James Taylor baseball card. Shannon, pick out a name from somebody here and tell us who won that. And I'm going to do one more. Actually, you know what? I'm going to read another story, and then I'm going to do another giveaway because I got a good one. So there's a lot of stories. I could just sit here and read all of them, but the one that I'm going to read today is one that I actually asked her to read, and she said, oh no, I can't read it. I'll cry my eyes out. So I'm going to read it for you, Angela. I'm pretty sure you're here. You said you were going to be here. I'm going to read Angela's story. It was very touching. It was very beautiful. And going forward on these Facebook Lives, I'm going to invite the contributors to come on and read their own stories. I just thought that would be fun to interview them and to hear them. But Angela, I'm going to read your story today from the book. And then I might read the epilogue, which is another story of mine that from my 50th birthday party. But let me read Angela. It's beautiful. Angela Elliott Johnson, and she lives in Kingsford, Michigan. Ready, Angela? Get your tissues out. Nice to meet you, said James Taylor. Nice to meet you as well, I said, welling up with tears. Excuse me. He reached out to give me a hug. It's hard to put into words how much this encounter meant to me. I've been listening to James Taylor's music since I was a very young girl. His music was a constant in my life, and still is to this day. My late father was a hippie from the 1970s and a huge fan of James Taylor. He would always play JT records on his turntable with the volume booming. Not only did he resemble James in his appearance, tall, handsome, and thin, but he also had a similar personality, at least as far as what I perceived James to have. Dad was shy, quiet, reflective, deep, artistic, and one with nature. I spent many hours alongside my father memorizing James Taylor's profound lyrics. When my wedding day came, it was obvious to me that I needed a JT song for my father-daughter dance, and we chose You've Got a Friend. About 18 years ago, James Taylor performed in Green Bay, Wisconsin to promote his October Road album. My dad and I went to the concert together, and it was amazing. He shared with me at that concert that his favorite song was Belfast to Boston. That song will always remain precious to me for that reason. My dad passed away suddenly of a brain aneurysm on May 26, 2004, just after his 50th birthday. My mom and I were devastated, and our lives changed forever. When the time came to choose his headstone, we decided to inscribe it with the lyrics from You've Got a Friend. I've spent many days at the cemetery with Dad playing some of our favorite songs. A few years after losing my dad, my mom and I found out that JT was going to perform another concert in Green Bay. We attended with heavy hearts, yet with so much excitement. I took a chance and asked an usher how it might be possible to meet James. She gave us directions to the back of the arena where his tour bus was parked. We waited in the cold fall air for what seemed like forever. And then, just like that, James appeared in front of us. I was awestruck. He gave me a hug and I'm getting chills. He gave me a hug and posed for a photo with me. I mustered up enough courage to tell him that I had been a lifelong fan, and his lyrics are engraved on my father's headstone. He was so kind and gracious to listen to me gush on and on. And we have a little picture there of his gravestone. It was a full circle moment in my life that I will never forget. I know there was one incredible angel in heaven who shared that once-in-a-lifetime moment with me that night. Thank you, James, for being in my father's life and mine. Thank you, Angela, for sharing that beautiful story. That was great. Of course, we know You've Got a Friend was written by Carole King, right? But James is the one who, as far as I am concerned, put it on the map. Although I love Carole King as well, we all do. And there's quite a few stories in here. I have organized the book by song title. And what I did was I asked each person, what is the song that speaks to you the most? And of course, everybody had a whole list, but I asked them to pick one song. And Another Gray Morning is here, Anywhere Like Heaven. Oh, that's France. She won something. Blossom, Caroline in My Mind, Copper Line, Don't Let Me Be Lonely. Fire and Rain, of course, which is the one that spoke to me. Get a Job, Shayna Lewis. That's a really cool story. Turns out her father wrote that song, and she didn't even know it until she heard James sing it on his covers album. So that's a cool story. Of course, You've Got a Friend, Shower the People, Something in the Way She Moves. So you can kind of pick your favorite song and find the stories from the fans who share that favorite song with you. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I'm going to do one more giveaway. Shannon, did you give away a couple of presents? Let's see, probably two, right? Shannon, you picked a winner for a baseball card. And let's see. You know what? I'm going to do one more. This one is really cool. I'm going to do this Facebook Live next Sunday, also at noon, and then the following Sunday at noon. So come back. Please come back and to those. And I might even do another one during the week. Because I want to keep reading stories from the book. I want to invite the contributors to come on and read their stories, and I want to keep giving away this great memorabilia. I mean, I've been collecting this stuff since the 70s, and I have duplicates of some, and I just love to share what I have with James with you. This one, are you ready for this? You guys probably have this if you're a huge fan. Maybe you do. Yes, poster. And on the back of the poster is all the lyrics in his handwriting from the Sweet Baby James album. Who knows where this poster came from? If you know it, put it in the chat. Let's see. This was actually it was folded, and it was actually in the Sweet Baby James album. So if you have that album from 1974 or something, then you would have had this poster. And it's been a lot of years, right? It's been 50 years, so maybe you don't have it anymore, or maybe it's not in good condition. But this one that I have kept, I have two, is in great condition, and I didn't frame this one. You can frame it and put it on your wall, or you can frame this side with the lyrics. Isn't that amazing? I just love this. And it has like, Oh Baby, Don't You Lose Your Lip on Me, and Blossom, of course, one of my favorites, Steamroller. So let's see, who's going to win that great poster? Shannon, I'm going to let you pick out the winner of that one, because if you're a contributor, your name is in both places. It's in my hat and Shannon's hat. So, and if you just came here today and you're not a contributor, I want to thank you too. So, Shannon, just pick out a name. And when you have the album, When you have the album, when you have the name, just put it in the chat so that they know who won. And I'm going to do one more for my contributors. Let's see, I have three 45s here. I have You Can Close Your Eyes. Oh my God. Anyone who went to the concert, not the concerts that I went to the first 3 of this tour. But then after that, Henry, who is James's son, sang You Can Close Your Eyes with him. I would have bawled my eyes out. I do have a video of it on my Life with James Taylor page, so please go see it. Henry is adorable. He looks just like James at that age, and he sings beautifully, and he was singing You Can Close Your Eyes with him. So, and on the back of You Can Close Your Eyes, 45 is, of course, You've Got a Friend. So I feel like one of the contributors needs this. I'm going to pick one out. I'm not going to look. I'm just going to pick out a winner. Remember, if you're watching this on a replay, put hashtag replay, and I'm going to do another drawing during the week, maybe even 2 if I'm feeling up for it. And you can win something too. So put hashtag replay so I know you've watched this. And the winner for that 45 is, who is it? Patrick Van Wee. Patrick Van Wee. Patrick, are you here? I don't remember where Patrick lives. He could be here, but if you're here, Patrick, then you have won that 45, which is so awesome. And I'll be doing that one again. I have 2 of those, actually, so we'll do that again. All right. Does anybody want to hear one more story? What time is it? How are we doing on time? I don't even know. I'm going to read one more story. Let's see. So, my friend, is Paula here? Paula might be here. I'll read Paula's story. Paula Hoopman, where are you? So Paula's picture is on the back of the book. Again, when I go to James Taylor concerts, and I go to a lot of them, when I go, I always write on my page who's going to this concert, and I meet up with them. And I have met up with so many people. This picture is Craig Cooper. I see him almost every time I go to a Tanglewood concert. And I just saw him in Detroit at a concert. I saw Brandy Ringel in Chicago. I saw Paula in Chicago. And this concert was from a few years back at Fenway. And Paula and I met up, and she was showing me her phone case with a picture of her and James on it. And she's a huge fan. And Paula and I love Paula, and I love her story. And it's called Stretch of the Highway. I'm going to read that one again. I'll read that one to you. Stretch of the Highway. Paula Hoopman, Marietta, Georgia. James Taylor's music has been the soundtrack of my life. Since 1969, he has been my idol, my hero, and a source of great comfort. In 1996, at the age of 41, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. During my treatment, my husband asked, "What's on your bucket list?" And I told him, I wanted to see James Taylor in concert 100 times. Every time I gave James Taylor flowers at the stage and he shook my hand, I felt this charge of energy. I always told myself one more great year is coming. When James gave me a hug after a concert, it counted me for 5 more good years. I would make him baskets and bring them to security in hopes that he would receive them, never really knowing for sure if he got them. I included what I called James Taylor tea and You've Got a Friend cookies, and always a little note saying how much he meant to me. Another item on my bucket list was to visit France. We went to 3 different cities on our trip, and I got to see James perform live in all 3 cities. It was one of the most amazing times in my life. To see him play venues of over 1,000 people with crystal clear sound and a beautiful view of him, I felt like I was being serenaded. Hearing the song Stretch of the Highway portrays Chicago while in Bordeaux, France, and it was amazing. When James smiled at me during the show, a gentleman asked if we were family. My husband just smiled and said, "My wife has a special relationship with him." My husband says the same. Whenever I go to a concert, I want the magic to last forever. I've shared my love of James Taylor with everyone who is important in my life. There is an overwhelming specialness to his music, and I want to share that with everyone I love. I now live in Marietta, Georgia, and have some new friends who, like me, have Taylor fever. I can't wait to sing with them at the next JT concert. My next show will be my 72nd, which means I have 28 more shows to go to meet my 100 shows goal. James once told me, hey, that's good for you and good for me, but what happens when we reach 100? I just smiled and said, we start all over again. I love that. I had been in remission for 23 years, until recently when the cancer snuck back in. But I will not let it get to me. Just like before, it will be a small fork in the road. I still have 28 more James Taylor concerts to see. And when I have a goal, it's hard to keep me down. I am determined and driven and know what I need to accomplish. And James will be my guiding light. Thank you, Paula. It was such an honor and a pleasure to meet Paula. Opening night in Chicago, she was there as I was, and she said, I'm here, are you? And I walked into the arena, and there she was sitting down having a cup of coffee or something, water or something, and we just met, and we went, oh my goodness, Paula. So that was really cool, and I love your story, and you have 28 more concerts to go, and then you start all over again. So that's really cool. I love people who count how many concerts. I can't do that. Anyway, another beautiful story, and I hope you've been enjoying this. I would just keep going and going and going, but I feel like I've taken a lot of your time. I'm going to do this again next Sunday. And should we give one more giveaway just because you guys just hung on while I had all those technical difficulties? I'm gonna do one more. All right. So, my favorite cup from James Taylor Tour. The last time I saw him in 2019 before COVID. His last concert was in Providence, Rhode Island, and that's where I live. And I went there to see him in Providence for the last score with my niece April. So I think what I'll give away now, one more. Oh, this is an oldie. You guys might like this. This is from, remember when he was a star? He was a star in a movie. Tulane Blacktop is the picture, and he was in that movie with Warren Oates, Laurie Bird, and Dennis Wilson. This is a poster from that movie, and there he is. So cool, right? It's a really cool poster. So I'm going to give this poster away, and I'm going to have Shannon pick this one too, because it will go to someone who is here with me today. And any contributor that was here, like I said, your name is in both places, so you'll have a chance to win this poster too. So Shannon, when you have a second, you can pull out your name from the hat. And one more, oh my God, I'm feeling so generous today, just because it took me so long to get on. I'm going to give one more copy of the book to one of my contributors. I just love you all. And I thank you all. And next time I'm going to read a couple more stories if I can get through them without crying, because some of them just really make me cry. And some of them are funny too. I mean, I'm not going to tell you who, but there are stories of just really happy moments, and there are stories of crazy moments, and then there are stories, of course, of very touching moments. So I'm gonna read some of those next Sunday. For now, contributors, one more copy of my book. I'm going to send it to you with my love and autograph. And you can see, let me show you a little bit again. I have here the Sweet Baby James book, and I did have him sign that in one of the concerts before COVID when he used to come and sign things. And this wonderful picture, can you see that? That wonderful picture, Dan Beach took that picture and sent it to me. That was James at the 1969 Folk Festival in Newport, Rhode Island, which is where I'm from. And then this picture, everybody laughed. And that picture is one of my favorites, and that's an Annie Leibovitz picture, and those are Carly Simon's legs wrapped around him. Isn't that amazing? Let me show you that. So cool, right? And that's a great one. And I have some, those things I'm not auctioning off, no. But one more signed copy. Thank you, Bridget. Bridget said this book is such a great combination of contributions. Thank you, Bridget. Dawn is watching. Paula says we're going to meet in Tanglewood 2022. Yes, with Craig, who is I call him my JT husband. He sees me all the time in Tanglewood. With my really good friend Kim Lifton, who did some editing in the book. And she has a beautiful story about You've Got a Friend, about our friendship. We met through James. So, Curtis Clark. Love Curtis's story too. Really touching story in the book. Curtis, I think you even asked me for one and now you're getting one. I'm going to sign a copy of this book to you, Curtis, and send it to you this week. So, again, thank you. Oh, Fabio, you're here from Italy, and he says it's September 2nd. The book is expected. You can go to my website, lifewithjamestaylor.com. You have the option there to buy the book through Amazon. You have the option there to buy the book through Barnes & Noble. You have the option there to buy the book through an independent book seller. I forgot the name of it. It's Shopify, I don't know. You'll see. And so you have your choice of where to purchase the book. And like I said, please come back next Sunday. Oh, thank you, bookshop.org, my husband's telling me. Please come back next Sunday and we will do some more of this. It's fun. And I'm going to get the contributor's face on Facebook Live, so it's not just me you're looking at, and maybe they will share their own story too. Thanks again, everybody. I love you all. That's why we're here. Bye.